All right, so welcome to maybe your very first online school session. How many of you, this is your very first session to log into? You can put an emoji or you can put a green check. How many of you have not had a session before today? So feel free to type in the chat box. That's our main way of being able to communicate in the live session. So down at the bottom. All right, so Tristan, you've had a few. Good to know. All right, so you guys may have noticed a little bit of kind of a confusing thing with the start dates of September. So you guys are September cohort, and the soft start of that, if you will, was yesterday on the 9th. So all of you guys had what is called basically early access to the course. So if you have been in K-12 before and you're very familiar with how our school works, and you've done private academy, or we've also, our former name was International Academy. If you have already done that and you're a professional, then you may not want to stay in the session because it will probably be a repeat of information you already know. So it's up to you. I'm really trying to gear this session to students who are brand new to online school, brand new to K-12 and our program, and just kind of answer questions and help those students get started. So you guys are welcome to put questions in the chat as we go along. That's what I'm here for, just to make sure that we're getting started and that you have everything you need to understand how to work in the course. Okay, so the start date of 9/9, like I said, it kind of gives you early access into the course. You are able to begin working on your lessons. You might really not understand what to do yet, though, because you'll notice on the course calendar, if you've seen that yet, and if not, we'll get to that in just a second. Bye, Ben. Nice to meet you, too. So if you have noticed that the lessons start on the 28th. So you do have a little bit of time built in to kind of get a feel for how everything works, find your way around, and make sure you understand how the system works before you start. So I'm going to share a couple of things, and then I want you guys as well just to ask questions as we go. So this is a very informal session. Questions are welcome. I will screen share some things as well and just kind of guide you guys. But I do have some slides that will kind of guide our conversation, but I am open to ask or answer any questions that you guys have. So again, this is science. I'm speaking mainly from physical science as your science teacher, but a lot of the information I have to share is pretty consistent with what you'll see school-wide. So keep that in mind. So just a question, how many of you felt like this yesterday? It was your first day of school. It was very overwhelming, and you were done with it. Yes, it's overwhelming. Yes, and that's okay. You could be a pro and you could have, like, I got this, or you can be like, what is going on? I don't understand any of this. So give yourself a little bit of grace and be patient with yourself and your learning coach, because you're learning how to not only use a new computer program, a new system, and you're learning your subjects for the year. So it takes a little bit of time, and it actually takes at least a month to get really comfortable with what's going on and what's expected and how things work. So just be patient and don't hesitate to ask questions. I have students who started back in August who are still saying, I don't understand what to do. And they've been in school for almost a month now. So I hope that by starting this early session and being able to chat with you guys, that in 1 month, you are not still sitting there going, I don't get this. So my hope is to help you understand how to use this system and get going. All right? So if this was you yesterday, don't worry. You will soon have a new happy face and be able to navigate everything. So let me talk to you a little bit about K-12 Private Academy. Our enrollment has been huge, as you can imagine, this year with COVID and students not wanting to do distance learning from their school anymore. They needed something with maybe some more structure or consistency. So our enrollment is huge. What you guys may have been given as far as information about the school when you enrolled might be a little off. We have a lot of new enrollment people who are just taking phone calls and answering questions. And K-12 is a really huge school. So there's public schools that are in every state, and then there are 3 private schools that K-12 has as well. And we are one of those private schools, and our school works a little bit differently. So I'm going to kind of explain that to you today, and it might help you understand a little bit of why you're seeing such a difference than maybe what you were expecting when you logged in yesterday. So K-12 Private Academy has been around for 10 years. Our former name, we just changed our name over the summer. We were the International Academy. So you'll see some things that still say K-12 International Academy on it. It's the same school, same teachers. We just got a little bit of a facelift. So prior to COVID, our student population was pretty specialized to students who needed a very flexible schedule due to travel or athletics, like if you're a tennis player, if you're a dancer, a gymnast, some student actors, I don't call it child actor, but just people who had a very busy life based on other activities that they had, and they still needed to be able to do their school online. So 10 years ago, you guys probably would not have ever thought about doing school on the computer, but I've been teaching at this school this is my 9th year, so online school has been a thing for a while. But because of that, our school is set up a little bit differently. And so I'm going to explain that difference to you, and it may take a load off because it allows you to have a lot of flexibility in your schedule where you may have been used to, if you're coming from distance learning at your school, having to log on and meet with teachers every day. So if you were a little confused yesterday, like, where's my Zoom schedule, then this will definitely help you understand how this is different. So our program is designed, again, enrollment was huge, so what I'm telling you might be a tiny bit different than anything you may have heard, just because it's coming from all kinds of different people within K-12. But it's designed for independent learning with teacher support. So what that means is that I do not teach your science lessons to you every day. You read through those on your own on the computer. And that may look different for a lot of you. It may look different for all of you, depending on your level of independence. So one thing I do want to make sure you know is that I am not teaching you all of your science lessons, that you'll log in and you'll see which lesson you need to do for the day, and you'll read through all of those slides and do the activities in the lesson on your own. And then we will meet up once a week in a live session, something kind of like this, and we'll be going through some of that content. So it's supplemental, okay? All of your live sessions are never required. So it's always optional. If you want to come, great. If it doesn't fit into your schedule for that day, that's okay too. You'll see a help lab, and that's just a study hall. I titled this help lab because I wanted you to understand it meant come get some help. But normally you'll see like a flipped follow-up session, and that is just your class for the week that's going to cover some specific content in your subject. So our flipped follow-up would cover science content. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So help lab means you come in, ask questions, come and go, just a very easy going, no lesson taught. And then a flipped follow-up is where you will see a lesson taught. Okay, so that's a difference. So with that, how can you be successful? If you're thinking, well, how am I supposed to teach myself science? I don't understand. So let's talk through how are you going to be successful and how are you going to do that? So one, I'm going to show you, in case you haven't seen it, where your course calendar is. And that is like a secret map of what you should be doing in the course every day, which lesson. And every course has one. So the next thing to be successful is to attend the live sessions as you are able. So if it's causing you a great amount of stress to be able to try to get to, math, science, history, English, pick the ones that you need the most help in and start with those. And then as you get used to the system, maybe add some more. If you find, I don't really like a live session, I'd rather just focus on getting my work done, then do that. It's completely up to you. Coming to the live session does not impact your grade at all. We are just hosting them to offer additional help and support for students, play some games, do some interactive lessons, allow you guys to come into a session together and talk and visit and get to know each other and have some social interaction. So pick those and go through them as you like. But reading the lessons that are in the content are the most important things. So getting an understanding of what is in your lesson and being able to pass quizzes and tests, that's the most important thing you should be focusing on. And so finally, as you kind of get an idea in the next couple of weeks, you'll be able to decide what works best for you. All right, so in doing that, I want to show you a couple of things. So the student role is going to be, you're going to read through your lessons and take notes on your own. There is a lot of flexibility on how and when you do this. So a lot of our students go and train in maybe a gym. They're a gymnast and they're training all day and they do their schoolwork at night. We have a big population of students who do a variety of things. So there is no right answer in how you do your lessons. You just want to make sure that you're working in each of your courses every day. Okay, so your role is to log in and learn every day. If your days are really crammed or your parents are working at home too and they can't help you as much as you may need, maybe you're doing your lessons at night and on the weekends, and that's okay too. You have access to your courses 24 hours a day. All right, so again, the teacher role, my job is I'm going to host live sessions for you. Once a week, we'll cover a science lesson, and again, you'll see those help labs. Okay, and that's where you're able to come in and ask questions for one-on-one help. I am also here to grade the work that you submit and support you one-on-one via email. Maybe you download Skype and we instant message back and forth. Maybe you come into Help Lab, or even maybe we schedule a phone call. All right, so that's my role. Your learning coach role, so you're a parent. As a middle school, most of you being an 8th grade student, your learning coach is really overseeing that you're getting your lessons done and you're not really missing anything. At this point, depending on your level of help needed reading things, you should be able to go through and do all of it on your own. So that your learning coach should not have to sit with you and do everything with you unless you have some special need that requires that. So they are really guiding you, making sure that you're following the course plan, and they're checking that you're getting it done and not like turning your screen off and playing, PlayStation all day or something. And they can attend learning coach help sessions if they need something like that. I try to offer those as well. Okay, so really you're independently learning and working, and most cases the learning coach is just overseeing occasionally. I do want to encourage you guys to have your parents, your learning coaches, join the Facebook K-12 Private Academy page. You guys are probably not on Facebook. You may be on Instagram, Snapchat, all the other things. Likely you guys don't look at Facebook a lot, but your parents may. So share this with them because it's a really helpful page. There are lots of parents, teachers. It's a big group, so lots of questions. Parents can go on, say, hey, I don't really understand this, or I haven't received materials, what should I do? And they can get answers pretty quickly. So write that down, Facebook page, K-12 Private Academy. So there are lots of different K-12 school names. Make sure you look for the one that is our school name. Okay, so share that with your learning coaches. All right, so now let's take a quick tour of what do we need to do. If I'm supposed to teach myself and go through this all myself, what is it going to look like? So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to walk through some things together. All right, how many of you have logged in and you are able to so far at least see your different courses? Put it in chat, me. Hopefully, more than one person. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Oh, there you guys are, good. All right, so anyone see, this is my August student page, but how many of you have logged in and seen the September Physical Science A page? Hopefully you have, yes, awesome. Okay, so lots of things that happen here, and it's very helpful. You can see your grade all the time. It shows it right there. You can see your Class Connect sessions. So hopefully you were able to see this session today. You can see if you scroll down here, there are tons of fun announcements and things that are helpful for you there. Please don't X out of those because it will take it off of your announcement page and they don't come back. So if you accidentally do, you can message your teacher and say, hey, can you fix that for me? Or you may find the restore button, but it might be tricky. So down the side here, this class plan, you'll notice it may look different in your courses. It used to contain every single day of the course, but then the people that kind of are behind the scenes putting our course information in, they started only putting dates in on quizzes, tests, and teacher-graded assignments. So if there's just a lesson, yes, you still have to read it, but you won't see it pop up on this side calendar anymore. And that's kind of annoying. I don't really like that feature. So I don't want you to look at this and, for instance, you guys, it says September 28th. I went ahead and added in for you the lesson 1.01. But if we look over, I'll share my screen with you really quick, and you guys have seen this if you've already logged in and looked at the course. If you look over here, it shows that there is nothing else going on until October 12th. Okay, but we know that you would actually, have lessons to do before October 12th, right? So this is not a very accurate description. Sorry, I clicked something there, of what's going on in the course. If I hadn't put in this date for this lesson, the very first lesson, you guys may have thought, I don't have to do anything till October. So again, this part can be a little bit deceiving. So I want to show you where you will probably spend a lot of time. The first thing you'll want to do is click Content. And this is kind of the secret passageway that isn't very clear, but it shows you a lot of information. So you got an overview, some contact information. The table of contents is basically what we're looking at here. Course materials are going to show you my contact information. This is that course calendar that I keep referring to you with. It's so, so important. I'm going to open it so you can see what it looks like. And I'm going to encourage you, as your goal for the day, the one thing I want to ask you to do is open this and print it out. So it tells you, if you look, 9/23 is when the September cohort starts. But you guys had access yesterday, 9/9. So what should you do in the meantime? One, organize yourself. Go into the courses and play around. Like, don't take tests or anything like that. I've had students like accidentally clicked on all the tests. Don't do that, because once you click and open it, then that's it. You've taken it, and that's not good. So don't open tests or anything, but just look around in the course and get familiar and get comfortable with it so it doesn't freak you out. But then when you're ready, start working. So if you're ready to go tomorrow or Monday, then start with lesson 1, and you'll be ahead of the schedule, right? So it says here you have until the 28th. So if you want to take until the 28th to figure everything out and set up the perfect schedule and learning environment for yourself, do that. But if you want to go ahead and start working on lessons, do that. It's up to you. So just work in order. That's the one thing I want to ask. Work in order. Don't skip anything, okay? And make sure when you're looking and reading the lessons that you're going through every single page. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. All right, so what is the one thing I asked you as your assignment in science today? What was that? What did I ask you to do? Can anybody remember? Anyone? Are you there? Can you hear me? My chat's not scrolling. Yes. Jenna, thank you. Print out this page. It is called the course calendar. Even though it doesn't say that here, it says it up at the top. Print it out. Because at some point, you're going to be like, I don't know what to do. I have no clue what's going on. You're going to forget all the words that I'm telling you now, and then you're going to panic and be like, I don't know. This is your guide. This tells you what to do every single day of the course. So if we remember that October 12th date I talked about, you're going to be asking, like, what in the world do I turn in? Well, in science, it's a little bit strange this year because our Unit 1 got a facelift. It got overhauled over the summer. And they took out all the quizzes for some reason. So you guys have this assignment that you're going to turn into me. You'll notice it's in red. So if you see something in red, that means you turn it in, and you'll see a drop box in the lesson to turn it in. And then other than that, so like in Unit 2, we kind of go back to normal, where we have more quizzes. So you can see that. But we have another assignment in red. So you'll notice about once a unit, you're going to have a paper that you have to fill out and send to me to grade. Okay? So it looks like a lot of you have printed this out already. Excellent. And one tip I could give you is if you print out all of these in every class, then you're able to organize your week and figure out, I need to do this science lesson today, this math lesson today, and this history lesson today, or whatever. You can also organize your week where you do all your science lessons for the week in one day. And then the next day you do all your math lessons, and the next day you do all your history lessons. It's up to you. You have that flexibility, okay? So whatever works there. So remember, this is the course calendar, and you're going to print it if you have not. So now I'm going to go back to the content into the course, and you're like, okay, I have this calendar, now what? If I want to start working, what do I do? So you're going to scroll down, and you're going to know, oh, hey, here's some class recordings that I could look at, and here's some extra credit that I could look at. So the extra credit has done something weird in this course, so I'm going to have to fix it. So don't look at it yet. But if you go into Unit 1, you're able to see, okay, here's that 1.1 lesson. Here's a video that I assigned for you guys to do. It's just something that's similar to this in case you didn't come to a live session and you have no clue what you're doing. You could click here. But it's going to show you like, all right, I'm at 1.01. Here's what I've got to do. All these boxes need a check in it, and then I'm done for the day. So that doesn't look like very much work, right? You have a note guide to print out, and this is to fill out and take notes on as you go through the lessons, because you can use that to take your unit test. You're reading a little course introduction, so let's take a look what that would look like. So in science, there's no textbook. It's everything in the pages here. So these kind of, I call them, they look like slides because they have pages down here at the bottom. So there's no textbook. You're reading through this. So you go through and you read all 8 pages. So can you see at the bottom how it's showing you you're making progress or making progress, right? Sometimes there are things here that you have to click on, and then you click more, and it tells you about something going on. And you'll see different pictures with words on them, trying to figure out where the words went. So this one, it just tells you what the image is. Sometimes there will be things that you need to read in those boxes, and they're important because you'll see them again on the quiz. So make sure you look through all of those, okay? If you want to print this out, there's always an option to print out the box. So if you open this, it's going to just say image of wave, image of rainbow, because there's no words there. All right? So once you get through, my dog decided she's coming in to the room. Once you get through with all of that, you've gone through 8 of 8, you're ready to go up to the top and go on to the next thing. So in science, we don't do portfolios. So if you see anything that says portfolio, just know, okay, I don't need to do that. I'm done. I'm moving on. You can go through your goal setting. You can look for successful goal setting tips. And then you can go through, again, this portfolio goals. I thought I hid it, but it's still showing for some reason. I think it's because it's still the teacher account. So you guys probably won't see that. All right, so you're just clicking through every page, and that's it. So watch, look, it shows that we did this one, but I still have this and this to do. Okay, so as soon as you have all the boxes checked, you are done for the day. So you'd be done with science, and that is just reading. It may take 30 minutes. It may take a lot longer if you're not a good reader. One thing I do want to show you too is if you do like extra reading support, like I know my son is dyslexic, so things being read to him are really helpful. You can toggle on this button where it will read it to you. Okay? So check that out if you would like that feature. So in textbooks, you will read those in other classes. In science, there is no textbook. So in history, in maybe language arts, math, you may have a textbook and it will tell you, turn to page 10 and do these problems, or however it instructs you. But in science, everything is built into these online lessons, just like this. Okay? So if you're looking at it, you could imagine that this is 5 chapters of a science book right here. Okay, this is your entire book, no science textbook. That is a great question. All right, so I'm going to go back. I'll show you a couple more things. If you have questions pop up at any time, just let me know. Okay, very informal. I'm just wanting to share as much helpful information with you guys as possible. If you get to a point where you feel like, I'm good, I got it, you can log out. You don't have to stay. But if you're thinking, oh, this is helping me out, I'm feeling a little more at ease, then feel free, stay and ask more questions. So the next thing, course materials, again, is going to be pretty much where you find everything. So you'll go to content, and everything is down that left side. So that's why I encourage you to continue going through and just looking and getting familiar with the course. All right. Extra help with lessons, you can find those recordings. So I showed you earlier, it said Class Connect recordings. So again, under content and recordings, then you'll see that, and you're able to go click on the links. You want to pay special attention to the tabs at the bottom. There's Semester A, Semester B. You guys are Semester A. So the first few quizzes to see, nope, all your quizzes are directly pertaining to the lesson you just read. So in science, remember I told you guys Unit 1 kind of did something weird and they took all the quizzes out of Unit 1. So yeah, in Unit 2, it'll be a direct little quiz to understand what you learned out of that lesson. And quizzes are open notes, open lesson. I want you to go look up and find those answers in science because we don't have a book and it is hard to figure out how to get everything you need out of looking at those slides or pages online. So use those quizzes as benchmarks to see where you didn't get enough content and go back and read it again. Okay. So again, we've talked about the course calendar. The big takeaway there is assignments in red are submitted for grading. So are you saying, is there anything to see like where you're at in the course, your progress? Is that what you're asking, Jenna? So if you go back to the page that I was on, let me see if I can share it again. It will show you a check mark by the ones you've completed. So can you guys see the screen again? Hopefully you can. Okay. So it doesn't do this because this is the teacher account. But for instance, when we finish this, like when you check all these boxes, then over here 1.1 you would see a check. And that way you know I'm done with that, so now I'm going to the next thing that doesn't have a check. So if there's no check, you know that somewhere in the lesson there is a box that needs to be checked, which means you have to open it and go through all the slides to get the check. Okay, and there's usually one of those a day. I think in the course maybe 2 times you'll double up and have 2 things to do in a day. But mainly it's just 1 lesson a day. So this is lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. Does that make sense? All right, so other things that might be helpful, taking notes. Remember, those notes can be used on the test and can be used for extra credit. Let's talk really quickly too, when you guys get ready to start taking tests and quizzes, there is a difference in those. A quiz is covering content in that lesson and maybe 1 lesson before. So you can take those 2 to 3 times. Make sure you read before you jump in and start clicking answers, how many attempts you get on it. So if you take the quiz the first time, you go kind of blindly in and you score like 4 out of 5. It's a B, not too bad. You could take it again and see if you can get an A, or you can leave it. if you take the quiz the first time and you get 1 out of 5, that means you don't really have an understanding of that material. So 1, you don't want to leave that F. 1 out of 5 is an F. You don't want to leave that. You want to take the quiz again. But 2, you may need to go back and look up those answers and then make notes on those. If you're a really good student, you'll write that stuff down because you'll see it again on the unit test. It's going to look very similar. So if you've taken your quiz the max number of times, then you're stuck. It's going to give you the best score out of the 2 or 3, but you can't have any more attempts after that. Now for a test, that is different. You get 1 attempt only. So you want to make sure that when you log in to take a test, you're not rushing, your Wi-Fi is good, you are not accidentally clicking to open it and close it, because all of those things can really mess you up. So you want to be absolutely ready. And then before you submit that test, it's 10 multiple choice questions. You want to check, did all your answers stay? Sometimes if you slide your hand on the roller ball on the mouse or across your laptop, an answer can change. So you may want to get in the habit of saving each answer as you go. But don't submit it until the end, and you check over it and make sure everything is exactly how you want it before you submit it. Unless there is a power outage, a major glitch, something like that, you do not get to take those again. And if you tell me you have a power outage every test, I'm going to know you're probably not telling the truth. Okay? So make sure you're watching the recordings of the review or coming to the live session before you take that test, and just make sure you have good notes and you're ready to go. So you'll see a part 1 and a part 2. So that's the difference with tests and quizzes. Okay, so we'll talk really quickly. I shared with you guys about Class Connect sessions. You guys will see you can come in for Help Lab. This is not a typical Help Lab. Help Lab is me sitting here saying, what can I help you with? What questions do you have? And if you have none, then we kind of sit and look at each other for however long you stay. So if you have questions or an assignment or a lesson that you specifically need help, like I'm reading this and I don't understand this, then we can go over it. I cannot give you test answers or quiz answers in Help Lab. So if you come like, so, Ms. Reister, I was just curious, and then you read me your test question, I can't give you the answer. So, hi, Rio, welcome. So just know that. And there are flipped recordings. Some of your teachers require, like, watch this 10-minute recording, then come to the class and do. I don't mind if you watch them or not. It is up to you. The flipped recording is a 10-minute recording that I have done reading through the lesson and highlighting the important things for you. If you want to watch that, great. If you do not, that's okay too. It's up to you. But don't stress yourself out thinking you have to watch all these recordings and then go to all of these sessions, because that's a lot. And remember, I told you the most important thing is that you are getting through your daily lesson. That's it. Everything else is extra. So flipped recordings are extra, flipped follow-ups, those are extra. So if they're stressing you out, don't do them. All right, and there are 2 ways in science that you're going to earn extra credit. So you'll see coming up in Unit 1, you'll pass a lab. It'll come up in your lessons, and if you choose to do it, great. If you don't, that's okay too. So you can do a lab, and you can submit your unit notes. So those of you that really love science labs, this is going to be great for you because you're going to get extra credit and get to do more labs. So Jenna, the recording is there for when you read through the lessons. If you prefer to listen to it, great, you can do that. Otherwise, you're just reading through it on your own. So some students may prefer, I don't like listening to Ms. Reister's voice and her reading through this. I want to read it on my own and process it. Then you do that. there's been changes made in the course. I don't have a recording for every single lesson yet. I'm trying to catch up as fast as I can, but some of those lessons don't have flipped recordings. And I'll kind of show you again with the screen share where you would find that. So let me let it share. If you go into content, oh, I was already there, and you go to this Class Connect and Lesson Recordings, it's going to slowly open. So link to recordings, and then there's link to video tips and tricks. Maybe you have time to check that out. But you can see at the bottom, so this is 2021 semester A, and these are how many recordings I have right now, because this is in a new unit. Some of these, you'll see these Blackboard recordings. That mean it was done in a room like this, and they don't work anymore because Blackboard is phasing out with us, and so the links expired. So I'm having to re-record all of those. So yeah, the lessons that you are reading through on your own, which that's all of the lessons, but a lot of them will have a recording you can listen to if you want. And then if you aren't able to come to our fun Thursday session and you want to see what we did, you can go and look. So this is science orientation. This is the one I did in August. You could watch that. Unit 1 fun. This was just a fun session that you guys will have coming up. A lesson on scientific method. Those are there if you want to watch. All of those are optional, but it's just there for you to have as a resource. So any other questions on that, you can let me know. Yep. So the last thing that I want to share with you guys is how to contact me. I have students that are just not really sure what's going on because they thought they were going to see me every day in a Zoom class or something, and so they are very confused on what we do. So you can add me to Skype, and that is iAcademy K Reister. You can instant message me. We do not usually do face-to-face Skype phone calls, so you can rest assured that anytime you reach out to your teacher on Skype, they are really wanting just an instant message back and forth. But make sure you're looking at their availability. So like my Skype right now is set on Do Not Disturb. That means I'm in a session and I can't go over and answer a Skype message even. You can leave the message and I'll get it when I am available too. But if you start calling your teacher just unexpectedly, or might freak them out a little bit, because normally a phone call like that is set up and scheduled. So you can definitely message me on Skype. You can email me anytime. You can call my office if you would like to do that. There is a phone number. And then I have a Google Voice text number, and you can text that if you would like. It's kind of been acting up and not sending the notification. So if I text you and you don't hear back like in a day, then something went wrong. So maybe try a different method. But just like you, I'm a normal person. I have 3 kiddos. I'll show you a picture of them. They are very busy. Let's see. Here we are. So my kiddos are in FFA and raising goats, playing baseball and football. They like fishing a lot. The boys did a lot of fishing. My little one had poison ivy and a bee sting in his eye recently. So we have a lot going on. And my 2 dogs. I have another son, and his picture, for some reason, I didn't have a quick picture to throw on. But so I have 3 kiddos too, is the point. And they're all going to school and doing crazy things just like you guys are. So when I tell you that I'm not online, usually after 7 p.m. or on the weekends, I'm not online, and if I am, I'm trying to catch up grading or something, but I don't usually, unless we schedule a call, try to connect with students after 7 or on the weekend, especially on the weekend, because I've been sitting here in this chair for a lot of hours and I like to get out. So if you want to leave a message at any time over the weekend, you can, but I'll get back to you on Monday. So that's just kind of how that works. I'm here to help. I definitely want to help you guys get through and understand how to, read the lessons and learn physical science. So I'm always just an email, phone call, whatever, away. So that's all I have. I know that went really over 30 minutes. That was kind of long.